Okay, Marcus, are you ready?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay. All right, so everyone's on page 4. Okay, so before we start, page 4 and page 3 are both about synthetic division. But what we did last time was the divisor. Okay, and the divisor here has x minus 2, right? Or it could be x plus a number, right? So it's always just x by itself. Okay, but for case 2, okay, let me highlight it here, right? Case 1 is when the divisor is x minus some number. Okay, now if you look at the next page, okay, case 2, the divisor is ax minus b. So a is not 0 anymore. So for example here, right, we have 2x plus 1 as our divisor. So the x, the coefficient is not 1 anymore, right? It's not just x. It has 2x, or it could be negative 3x, could be anything, okay? So let's see what difference it will make. But we'll start with the long division first. Remember, we also did long division last time, right? The setup is differently, right? We have to write out the x's. Okay, so we'll go over the long division. We start by drawing a line here, right? And we place the dividend, right? This part is a dividend. So we'll put x 2x cubed plus x squared minus 6x plus 3. 2x plus 1. Okay, so everyone please set it up. So we start by comparing the first term with the first term. All right, so 2x times what can make 2x cubed? Okay, 2x times what can make 2x cubed? Chris?
X squared.
X squared, very good. Okay, so make sure when you write the x squared, you need to line up with the x squared column. Okay, so put the x squared on the top, right? Because that's under the above the x squared. So x squared will multiply both of the divisor, so give you 2x cubed plus x squared, right? And multiply both terms. Okay, so this is like long division. Now we draw the line like before. Okay, and then subtract. Okay, subtract the first two terms, they cancel each other out. So the other ones will just drop down. You get negative 6x plus 3. So once again, we compare the first term with the first term in the divisor. Okay, so what do we need to multiply this time? Angela?
Negative 3.
Very good. Okay, so negative 3, we need to put it above the one that has no x, right? So you had to put it here. All right, you need to line up. So negative 3 multiply both of the terms, you get negative 6x minus 3, right? Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Now draw the line and subtract. So negative 6x cancels out, 3 subtract negative 3, it will become what? Daniel?
6.
Yep, very good. Okay, so the 6 is called the remainder. We divide until the end of the line, right? And then The green box on the top, that's called a quotient. Okay, so if we connect everything together, there's something called a division statement, okay, that combine, right, write everything, all the important components together in one line. So we can write it down here, okay, you should still have a space, right, division. Statement. So we start with the dividend. Okay, whatever that's inside, it equals to the quotient times it by divisor added with the remainder. Okay, you should have learned this statement in, I think should be in grade 3 or 4 when you learn dividing. Okay, when you divide, for example, 9 divided by 2, it will be what? 4, 8, 1, right? So similar, you can write 9 equals to 4 times 2 plus 1. Okay, so you have dividend, we call that polynomial. Okay, this part we call it a P, equals quotient times divisor plus remainder. Okay, let's reverse these two. Okay, usually they put it the other way around. Okay, so D times Q plus R. DQ. Okay, DQ carry Dairy Queen. Okay, easy to remember. DQ. So same thing, right? With numbers, you can do it like that. With a polynomial, you can also write it like that, right? So this is called a division statement. Okay. Right, so when you finish writing this part, please raise your hand, okay, before we look at synthetic division. So this division statement is very important for our next topic that we're gonna talk about after we learn the synthetic.
Jason, can you explain why we get a remainder of 4?
Remainder of 6.
Oh, 6. Could you explain that?
Okay, which part did you, so you're not sure where the 6 come from?
Mhm.
Okay, so you subtract this line with this line, the first line and second line, subtract each other.
Right. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so 3 subtract -3.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else have questions? Anything about division statement or how we get a quotient? Okay, please raise your hand if you already copied down everything. Okay, so let's look at synthetic division. So synthetic division, if you remember from your homework, right, or you can just look at the notes here. First step, we need to solve divisor equals 0. Right, steps are the same, okay? So we'll start with that. Divisor equal to 0, so 2x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, actually you don't need brackets, right? So if we solve for x equals to what, Waylon?
Equals -1/2.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So divisor equal to 0, so x equal to -1/2. Okay, so that will be the number that we put on the divisor box. Okay, if you look at outside the box, right? So step 2, right? If you look at the last page, after you solve divisor equal to 2, you will put the 2 on the outside. Okay, and that 2 tells you the divisor is x minus 2. So let's go to here. So we do the same thing, okay? We draw a box here. We put a -½ right? So -½ because we have to resolve it. You put it there, okay? And then now the inside, you only put the coefficients. And make sure you see I put the red 0, right? Because it's missing a term. If there's a missing term, you need to add a 0. Okay, do we have any missing term here? We have x cubed, x squared, x, and no x, right? So everything's there. So no 0 is needed. 2, 1, -6, and 3. Okay, so let's see if you remember how to start. Marcus, how do we begin the synthetic division?
Doesn't the 2 drop down?
Very good. Okay, so bring down the 2, and then what do we do?
You like times it by the -1/2.
Yeah, what do you get?
And then be like small.
2 times -½
1, -1.
-1. And where do we put it?
Under the 1.
Yeah, very good. So you cross over, put it there, and then what do we do?
You add it, so
Yeah.
it'd be 0.
Yeah, okay. And then please continue the same process. And then until you reach the end, okay? The final box here, that should be your remainder. So everyone, please do complete the synthetic division. And once you get to the remainder, please raise your hand. And from the long division on the left side, we know that remainder should be a 6. Right? Because we had a 6 on the left side. So if you get a 6, please raise your hand. So this process, I just call it crossover and then add, right? Crossover and then add, crossover and add. So instead of subtracting, we are doing adding here. All right, Nick, can you tell us what number goes under the -6?
Is it 0?
Yeah, and what do I put underneath that?
-6.
Okay, very good. And Caleb, can you tell us what do we put under the 3?
+3.
Yeah, okay, so add together, give you the 6. So we have a remainder here, and that's correct remainder, right? Remainder is 6. It matches the remainder on the left side. Now the quotient should be here, right? This should be our quotient. So if we write out the quotient and then fill in the x has to be 1 degree lower than the dividend, okay? We have 2x cubed in the dividend to start with, right? So our quotient should start with 2x squared. Should start with x squared. We get 2x squared plus 0x minus 6. Okay, the 0x you don't need to show, right? So at the end, your quotient is just 2x squared minus 6. So we have this one as our quotient. But if you compare this quotient with the quotient that we got before was x squared minus 3, but then the one we got here is different. Okay, so what's going on? What's the relationship between those two? Okay, what's the pattern here, right? What's happening? Does anyone see what's going on here, right? You compare those two.
You
What's the-
divide by 2.
Yes, okay, very good, Chris. So you can see that the 2x squared minus 6 is actually double the answer that we got before. So how come it happened this way, right? Why does the synthetic division need to divide by 2? It came from how we use the divisor in the first step, okay? Remember we used the negative half as our divisor. What that means is we are pretending our divisor for the moment to be x plus 1/2. Okay? We pretended to be x plus 1/2. That's why it becomes negative half. But then in the real question here, it's actually 2x plus 1. Okay, so if it's x plus 1/2, then the division statement will look like this, okay? D is x plus 1/2. Okay, and then Q is 2x squared minus 6. And then remainder is 6. Okay, so this divisor we got here is not matching the question, right? Because the question is supposed to be 2x plus 1. But then we use x plus 1/2, right? Because with the divisor, the number we put outside is negative half. So in order to match the question, we need to take a 2 out of the quotient. Okay, take the 2 out, right? If we factor the 2 out, or let me explain this way, okay? We divide this one by 2, and then at the same time times this one by 2. So they balance out. So what will happen now? It becomes 2x plus 1, right? After I multiplying the 2, and then the other one will become the correct quotient. So this will be the correct one. Okay, it's because we need to match the question, right? The question has a divisor with a 2x plus 1, but we pretend, right? When we did the synthetic, we pretend the divisor was x plus half. So in order to correct that, we multiply by 2, but then at the same time, you need to divide the quotient by 2 in order to balance out. Okay, so then you're not changing the question. Okay, so to get the correct quotient, you need to divide it by 2. And that 2 came from the 2 you have at the front here. Okay, this 2 So, okay, where I don't want to make it too messy, right? So let's put it here. Need to divide. Okay, we'll put the another note in the next example again. Okay, so right now just understand that we need to divide it by 2 because in front of the x in the divisor has a 2. Okay. All right, can you raise your hand if you understand why we need to divide by 2 for the quotient? It's quite confusing, okay? Sometimes when you learn at school, you only know, okay, I have to divide by 2, but you don't know why, okay? So if you write out the division statement, then you understand why. So that's why it's important, okay, to know the division statement. All right, so Evan, you came in late, right? So we are on page 4. Okay, Marcus, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, so this time maybe you can understand better, okay, what to do. So step 1, we take the divisor equal to 0 and solve. Solve for x, okay? So Evan, can you tell us what does that equal when you solve for x from 3x
1 over
minus
3.
Yeah, 1 over 3, okay? So because at the front, there's a 3. So remember at the end, after you do the synthetic division, your quotient, you need to divide it by 3. Okay, so you look at the divisor. If it's a 1, then you divide it by 1. So there's no change, right? That's why on the last page, right, you don't need to divide by anything because it's 1. Okay, step 2, we're gonna set it up. All right, so this time I'll let you set it up by yourself. And when you reach to the remainder, please raise your hand and we'll check the number there, okay? Okay, please raise your hand if you finished the remainder. You found the remainder. Okay, Lily, what's the remainder you got?
I got 8/3.
8/3. Caleb, what do you have?
I also have 8/3.
8/3. Okay. Philip, how about you?
I also got 8/3.
Okay, so as you can see, we could have a remainder of fraction, right? That's okay. Let's take a look, okay? We'll check the steps. So we add them up, right? You get 2, and then 2/3. Add together will be 2 and 2/3, which is same as 8/3. Okay, yeah, that's good. Now the quotient. Okay, what should be the quotient then? Eric?
It should be 9x squared minus 3x plus 2, right?
Minus 3x and then plus 2. Anything else we need to do?
Remainder 6.
The remainder is not 6. Remainder we found is 8.
I mean, 8/3. Sorry, I was looking at the top one.
Yeah, but then the quotient, is that the final answer for the quotient?
Oh, wait, do you have to factor it?
No, we need to do something else. Susan, do you remember? What do we need to do to get the correct quotient?
Divide it by 3.
Yes, okay, Eric?
Oh,
Okay, do you know why we need to divide by 3? It came from the 3 in front of the x. Okay, if there's a number in front of the x that's not 1, you need to divide by that.
okay. I
Okay,
see. Yeah.
so the real quotient should be 3x squared minus 1x plus 2/3. That's our quotient. Okay, because when you use 1/3 in as your divisor, you are pretending your divisor is x plus 1/3. Sorry, x minus 1/3. So in order to match the question, right? The question is not x minus 1/3, it's 3x minus 1. So you need to times it by 3 to make it match the question. So at the same time, you need to divide your quotient by 3. Okay. So I hope that clears up. Okay. So the 3 in front of the x tells you at the end your quotient need to divide by 3. Okay, please remember that. Very, very important. I'll just put a star. Okay, one more try. Okay, one more try. So please raise your hand when you finish this one. This time, I would like you guys to write out the division statement as well. So division statement. P equals D Q plus R. Okay, so when you finish B with the division statement, you can raise your hand. Okay. So Susan, you already done? So question B, you have a 2 in front. Okay, so you know what to do. Okay, remember to raise your hand when you finish. Okay, so what's the x equal in step 1? Marcus? X equal to what?
-2/4.
2x plus 4 equal to 0, right?
Yeah.
What number do you move over first?
Oh, -4.
Yeah, -4, right? 4 goes over, become -4, and then
Divided by 2.
what does that equal?
Just -2.
Yeah, okay, so you put -2 on the outside, right? So you don't look at, when you are thinking about what to divide in the quotient, right? You don't look at your x equal. You have to look at your original question, right? Divisor has a 2. Right? Because if you just look at x equal to -2, then your divisor will be like x plus 2. Then there's nothing to divide. Okay? Then you will think, okay, I don't need to divide here. But if you look at the divisor, it's a 2x plus 4. So your quotient need to divide it by 2. Okay? You look at the original question. Right? If you finish, please raise your hand. And Evan, can you tell us what number do we put inside for the dividend? Evan, are you there? Evan, can you hear me? Okay, how about you, Waylon? What number do we put for the dividend?
Okay, repeat that again.
What number do we put inside the box for the dividend?
Oh, wait, one sec.
The first number is 8, and then,
4,
and then,
0,
and then,
-19.
yeah. Okay, so if you finish the division statement, please raise your hand. Don't forget to have a 0, okay, for your dividend. Okay, Eric, what are you doing now? Are you done?
Oh, I'm just finishing the division statement.
Oh. Can you tell us the remainder that you got then, Eric? Eric, what's the remainder you have? Eric,
Is -67?
-67. Okay, let's check. Angela, what's your remainder?
I got the same.
Okay. Nick,
Same thing.
same thing. Okay, so let's quickly go over 8. It'll be -16. And then negative what, 12? Right? And then what, 24? There's a -48. Sorry, you don't multiply. -48 will be there. 24, -48. Yeah, okay, -67. And then in the end, we need to divide everything by 2. Okay, so our division statement. Evan, are you back?
Yes.
Okay, have you finished division statement yet?
No, not yet.
Did you finish the synthetic division?
No.
Where are you now?
I'm a bit lost on how to do this in synthetic division.
Which part?
The second part.
The step 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how we got the -2 on the outside?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how we get these 4 numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the bottom part of it.
Okay. So do you know how we get this 8?
I think you just drop it down.
That's right. Okay. And then we go over and then write -16. Do you know how we get the -16?
No.
Okay. You take the 8, you multiply with the -2. The 8, do you see this 8? Evan, can you keep your
Oh,
mind?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, multiply with the -2. What's that?
-16.
That's how we get the -16. Okay,
Okay.
and then how do we get the -12 at the bottom?
I'm not quite sure.
You add those two numbers up, the 4 and the -16, you add together. Evan, can you please just keep the mic on? Yeah, okay. 4 plus -16, what's that?
-12.
-12, that's where it come from, okay?
Okay.
And then what do you do next?
So,
You would repeat the same process again, okay? So we erase all that circle. You take the -12, multiply by -2 now. Are you there?
yeah.
What do you get?
24.
Where do you put it?
The second row. Or yeah.
Under the
0.
0. And what do you do now?
You add it together.
What do you get?
It's 24.
Okay, now what do you do next?
24 times -2.
What do you get?
-48.
Where do you put it?
Under the -19.
Yeah, and then what do you do?
You add them.
You get,
-67.
and that -67 is called the,
Remainder.
yeah. Okay, did you do the homework, last homework?
Not yet.
That's why, okay? Because we learned this last week. Okay? Evan?
Thank you.
Okay, and hold on, we're not done yet, okay? So the 8, -12, and the 24, those are called a quotient. Okay?
Okay.
But then you need to divide that number by 2. Do you know why? Where's that 2 come from?
No.
This 2 came from the divisor. You see a 2 I highlighted?
Oh yeah.
Okay, if there's a 2 in front of the x, your final answer you need to divide it by 2, the quotient part.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, make sure you write everything down because you came in late. That's also why you missed. Okay, now the division statement. We still have 5 people not done yet. Can you raise your hand if you finished? Okay, so the division statement. What's the dividend? Eric, what do we put in here?
Is it 4x² minus 6x plus 12?
Division statement, the first blank is for dividend. Which one is the dividend here?
Oh, 8x² minus 12 plus 24.
No, dividend. Do you know what's a dividend?
Number or the thing being divided.
Yeah,
Oh wait, so it's like the original one, so like 8x³ plus 4x² minus 19.
okay, now you are in the game. Okay, so right here, Okay. Let's say, okay, so, and then the next part is the divisor. Okay, what goes into here now? Jenny?
-2.
You need to put the original divisor.
Oh, 2x plus 4.
Very good, okay. The -2 is just when we use that when we do the synthetic division. Okay, now the quotient. Caleb, what do we put into the quotient?
Oh, we put um we put in, oh, I'm not so sure.
What's our quotient in the in your division? In your synthetic, you finished the synthetic division, right?
Yeah. No, actually, no, I did not finish it all. I was just waiting to see what will happen.
So where are you right now?
Oh, I finished everything up to I finished P and D, but I did not finish the Q.
You finished the P and D, right? I mean,
the
your
rem-
synthetic
remainder.
division here, up here. Did you finish that?
Yeah.
Then you have the quotient. Do you know where to find the quotient?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. The quotient should be 4x squared minus 6 plus 12.
6
Oh, 6x minus 12
plus or minus 12?
plus 12.
Plus 12, very good. Okay, so this part, the yellow highlight is our quotient. Okay, remember you need to divide by 2. Last blank is the remainder. Okay, what goes into the remainder here? CZ?
-67.
Yeah, -67. Okay, so we have P equals DQ plus R. This is called division statement. Okay, anyone has question here? Evan, how are you doing? Did you get the division statement?
Yes.
Okay, this statement come from just when you learn dividing in elementary school. Okay, I already explained with an example before, right? If you have 9 divided by 2, you get 4, remainder 1. So 9 is the dividend, right? D is the 2 divisor times 4 quotient plus 1. Okay, there's nothing new about this. We're just doing the same thing except with x's, right? The polynomial. P equal dq plus r. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so next part, right? If you finish writing down everything, okay, we'll look at question 3. Question 3 tells you that, okay, it has nothing to do with dividing here, okay? This one is just saying that if you have the p of x, which means it's a function, we use p to stand for polynomial, okay? Or we also use it as our dividend, okay? Or anything that has x's, right? Polynomial. So p bracket 1, it means p of 1. So it's not p times 1. Okay, it's a function notation. So what that means is you plug in the 1 into the x's, right? Instead of x, you replace it with 1. So it becomes 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 4. Okay, so you replace all the x with 1 if there's a 1 in the bracket, okay? Just like f of x. All right, so it could be p of x, could be q of x, okay? Could be anything. So then at the end, you will get a number. Okay, Daniel, what's the final answer for this one?
6.
6. Okay, so 1 minus 2, -1 plus 3. Yep, very good. Okay, so basically this exercise is just telling you that, telling you about the notation here. Okay, that you practice this because we're gonna need this concept later. Okay, so please finish these two, question B and C. You can use a calculator if you like. Okay, plug in the x and then get the final number. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so raise your hand if you finish those two. If you are plugging into your calculator, make sure you have brackets, okay? Because you have negative, right? You have fractions. You need to keep everything into the right exponents, right? Into the x. So make sure you have brackets around the number you sub in. Right, please raise your hand if you found the two blanks. Okay, it should be done by now, right? It's just plugging in. Angela, do you have answer for B?
I got -18.
Okay. Thank you. Nick, do you have answer for C?
I got 8.
8. Okay. Evan, what's your answer for B and C?
For B, I got -18.
Mm-hmm.
And then for C, I got 8. Same thing.
Okay, so same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone got different? Chris, how about you?
I got 41/8
For which one?
for C.
For C is 41/8,
Yeah,
and for B is
got the same.
same. Okay. How's everyone else doing? Susan, are you still working on it? Okay, what's your answer, Susan?
I got the same as Chris for the last one, and I got -18 for B.
So 41/8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so fractions, right? Fraction, more problems. So I guess -18 is okay. Let's take a look at fraction. 1/2, 1/2, because we have two answers, that's 8. Okay, so make sure you have brackets. If you're doing by hand, okay, 1/8 minus, that's 1/4 times 2, so 1/2 plus 3/2 plus 4. Common denominator, right? So you would make everything over 8. 1/8 minus 4/8 plus 12, and then 32. Okay, so double check your answer. This one I shouldn't be teaching you in grade 12, right? Okay, so put together, right? You should get 41/8. All right, so you can input anything, right? Just be careful when you submit it. Let's move on. Okay, so why do we need to do these two, right? Why do we need to know about synthetic? Why do we need to know how to sub in? Okay, it's all for the purpose of factoring polynomial. Okay, everything you learned up to here is to preparing you for this topic, how to factor. So in the homework, you use the synthetic division to find the remainder, right? In your last homework. So is it always like, if we are interested in only the remainder, do we always have to divide? Okay, so that's the question we want to answer here. The remainder theorem. This will tell us how to find remainder without dividing. So this is like magic, right? How do we find remainder if I don't divide at all? Okay, for example, you look at this question. I don't want to do any dividing, but I still want to get the remainder. So that's what the remainder theorem will tell us, okay? How we can get it. Okay, so let's take a look. We won't start with the synthetic yet, okay, because we know it will work, right? It can tell you the remainder theorem. It can tell you the remainder, okay? Let's look at the right side first. Okay, both of them are the same question. We're gonna find the remainder in two different ways. So what we're going to conclusion first, and we'll go back and explain why it works. Okay, so the remainder theorem tell us that remainder will just use R. Okay, remainder will just equal to P. Okay, let's write it higher. Okay, remainder will just equal to P of the divisor equals to 0. Okay, please write that down first. This part, the divisor equal to 0, is like the step 1 when you do synthetic division. Okay, so we'll go back to the left side. Step 1 of synthetic division was to solve, right? Solve divisor equal to 0. So what does that give you x equal to? Eric? Eric,
Is it 9? Negative 9.
huh? Negative 9? What are you answering?
Wait, isn't it like remainder equals the thing you plug in the divisor?
My question was, if you solve divisor equal to 0, what do you get for the x?
Oh, wouldn't it be 0? Oh, I know.
Divisor here.
If it's divisor, then it's impossible, right?
Okay, where are you now? What page are you on?
I'm on the same page.
Same page, right? Okay, my question is on the left side here. Divisor equal to 0. If you solve it for x, what do you get?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the right side.
It's the same question.
2/3.
2/3, okay? So 2/3 is the number you are going to put it into the P, okay? So the remainder theorem tells us that remainder will equal to P of 2/3. And what's the P? P is referring to our dividend, the polynomial here. This is our P of x. Okay, and on the last page, we just practice how to sub it in, right? So now I would like you guys to take out your calculator or do it by hand, okay? Plug it into our polynomial. Okay, so plug it in, 2/3, you will go plug it into each of the blank here. All right, when you reach to a number, please raise your hand. If anyone is lost, doesn't know what we are doing right now, okay, let me know. Then I'll help you catch up. Okay, so this page right now is the main purpose is to know how to find remainder without dividing at all. Okay, and to do that, you just take the divisor, solve for x, and then plug it into the dividend. Okay, and then the answer that comes out, that will be the remainder. All right, please raise your hand if you found the number.
Jason,
Yep, Jocelyn.
It's a -1.
Is it -1? Okay, let's put that down first. Okay, we're still waiting for more people to finish. What? Eric? Do you have questions?
No, I was just typing out my work.
No, okay. All right,
I sent it by accident.
it's okay. All right, please raise your hand if you found the number already. All right, Jenny, what do you have?
Sorry.
Jenny, what's your answer?
I actually just raised my hand because I wasn't sure what to do.
Where are you lost?
I just copied everything down so far.
So, okay, so what about, okay, let me see. Do you get this part?
Yep.
You understand how we get x equal to 2/3?
Yep.
Okay, so do you know what's r?
Yeah, remainder.
Yes, okay, so we are looking for remainder here, okay? And then
Okay.
to find the remainder, you just take what you solve, you get the 2/3 and then plug it into our dividend.
Okay.
Did you understand last page, the bottom 3 questions?
Yep.
So that's what we are doing here. So plug 2/3 into the x. Okay, you see that 6x cubed minus x squared plus 10x minus 9.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so you replace all the x with a 2/3.
Okay.
You understand what this is?
Yep.
Okay, so let me know when you found the number.
I got -1 as well.
Okay. Daniel, how about you?
I got -1.
Okay, so let's find out if it's correct. Okay, so we are gonna divide it, okay, using synthetic division. Like in the homework, right? In the homework, you just find the remainder with a synthetic. So 2/3, you put it on the outside. Dividend, you put it on the inside. There's no missing number. Drop down to 6. 6 times 2/3. What is that, lady? What's 6 times 2/3?
It's 4.
Yep. Okay, add together, -3. Okay, next one. What do we put underneath the 10, Calum?
Minus 2.
Very good. Add together, we get 8. Crossover. Doesn't look like it will end up -1, does it? Did we do anything wrong? Drop down to 6. 4. Oh, it's a -3. It's 3. Right? So that should be a 2. It'd be 12. Okay, and then next one. Philip, what number do we put under the -9?
Oh, you put 8.
8. Okay, add together, you will have -1.
-1.
Very good. Okay, so that matches our remainder here. So we have found the remainder without actually dividing it, okay? The quotient, right? If you use synthetic division, it not only tells you the remainder, but also the quotient, right? Quotient, you need to divide it by 3. It'll be 2x squared plus 1x plus 4, right? This should be our quotient, and that's -1 is the remainder. So how come we can just sub in the number and get the remainder, okay? So this has to do with our division statement. Okay, let's write out the division statement. What should go into the first blank? Chris, what should we put into the first blank?
Whole question.
Yeah, what is it?
6x cubed minus x squared plus 10x equals minus 9.
Yeah, okay. Now for the second blank, Eric, what do we put in there?
I think it's 3x minus 2.
Very good. That's our divisor. Now the quotient, because we did not divide it, right? Because we are pretending we are not dividing at all. So the Q is unknown, okay? Remainder, we are pretending we don't know yet, right? Should be -1, but we don't know yet, okay? So we just put R. So now if you sub in, right, because the remainder theorem tells us to sub in 2/3, right? When you solve 3x minus 2 equal to 0. The 2/3, this 2/3 that we got here on the left side, right, in the red circle, if you sub it into the x, it will make the divisor become 0, right? Because 3x minus 2 is the divisor. You solve for x, right? Make it equal to 0. So 2/3 will make it become 0. So that means when x equal to 2/3, if you sub into there, this part will go to 0. Now, if you sub into there, it will give you the -1. Right? Because we just did it down here. This is -1. -1 come from P of 2/3. Okay, so because the divisor becomes 0, then this whole thing, the Q times divisor will also go to 0. So this whole thing is gone. So that's why you have remainder left. Remainder equals to P of 2/3, the -1. Okay, the 2/3 makes the DQ disappear. That's the whole point. So remainder will just equal to whatever that you sub into the dividend. All right, so we can just use this if we want to find the remainder. So for example, question 4a, I want to find remainder. It will be P of what number do we sub in this time? Angela? For 4a, if I want to find remainder, what number do we put inside the dividend?
1.
Yeah, you just need to sub in 1. Okay, and then you can find it. All right, so you plug it in. And then what you get is the remainder. Okay, so same thing with this one. If you want to find remainder, you also need to plug in a number. All right, so I'll let you finish these two. When you finish, you can raise your hand. Okay, just find the remainder. Okay, so for question B, if I want to find remainder, what's the number we should put into X? Okay, think about that question. What number should we put into the X? Well, we don't have X here, it's T, right? What number should replace the T if I want to find remainder? Marcus?
Is it 3? 2t plus c?
You take 2t plus 3 and you need to solve for t.
T would equal to negative 2/3.
You need to move the 3 over first, right? 2t plus 3 equal to 0.
2t equals negative 3.
Mhm.
Oh, 3/2, negative 3/2.
That's right, okay? So negative 3 over 2, you will put it into your t, okay? Into the dividend, okay? To find the remainder. All right, so everyone complete these two. Raise your hand when you're done. So this is the remainder theorem, okay? We learned how to find remainder without actually dividing it. So of course, if you do it this way, you don't know the quotient, right? So if the question wants you to find a quotient, then you have to use synthetic. Please raise your hands if you are done. These two, just plug into the calculator or do it by hand. All right, Caleb, what's the remainder for question A?
The remainder should be 2.
Okay. And Sophie, what's the remainder for B?
I got negative 37.
Negative 37. All right. Does anyone have anything different? Nick, which question are you working on now?
B.
Do you have answer for A?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, all right. Okay, please raise your hand when you finish both A and B. One plus two, 3, 3 minus 4. Negative, huh? Is that 2? Is it 2? 1 plus 2 minus 4 plus 1. You sure it's 2? Philip, what do you have for A?
I got 0 for A.
0, right? Yeah, how'd you guys get 2? Plug in 1, right? Evan, what do you have for A?
I got 0 for A.
Yeah, it should be 0. Okay. You follow the order of operation, okay? Exponent first, and then add, multiply, divide, and then add and subtract. Okay, we'll take a break first, okay? During the break, you can finish these two up. Let me know if you have questions, okay? How to get the 0 and negative 37. Negative 37 is correct, okay? So if you have trouble getting negative 37, we'll go over step by step. All right, so I'll meet you guys back at 11:15.